a little preamble to this episode today. It's a different one, you guys, and I want you to come into it with an open mind. It reminds me of when I moved to Germany in college. Going into that experience, I think like most people, or maybe it was just my ignorance, I thought the way I did things was the best way, maybe even the only way. And if I zoomed out psychologically analyzing myself, I would have thought the way my family did things was the best way. And if I zoomed out a little more, the way my friend group did things and the way we did things in church was the best way and the only way. And if I zoom out a little further, the way we do things in America is the best way. And then I moved to Germany and I worked there, and people operate differently. Some things are better, some things aren't. They're just different, just as good. And from that moment on, it kind of unlocked my mind to realizing people do things differently, and that's okay. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes I need to adopt some practices that I learned. Other times it's different and it fits for their season in life, their personality, their style. Sweet. I feel like the listeners of Fulfillment Project are the open-minded sort. You take the inputs in, you adapt it to your life, and some things stick and some things don't. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. Shoot me a message, leave a note, a comment. Let me know what you think. Everybody, we have the one and only Ravi Kathuria on Fulfillment Project today. Welcome to the show, Ravi. How are you doing?
My God, Andy, I have waited for this moment.
We had our first call probably 3 months ago now, and I'm so excited to finally put this down on tape and get it out to the audience. They've been waiting. Let me tell the audience a little bit about you, Ravi. You are the founder and president of Houston Strategic Forum and of the management consulting firm Cohegic Corporation. He is a recognized business thought leader, vibrant speaker, and executive coach. He is the author of the highly acclaimed leadership parable, How Cohesive Is Your Company? His second book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, a modern-day parable about spirituality, is a non-religious and practical tale exploring spirituality. Ravi has made spirituality stunningly simple and accessible for all without judgment or preconditions. And Ravi, I gotta start off here. You hear people say, I'm spiritual but not religious. You openly talk about spirituality. What is spirituality?
Wow, Andy, you're not wasting any time.
Go!
Let's jump right into it. What a beautiful question. And the answer to this question, Mr. Andy Leonard, is an answer that will change the course of human history. All right? Because human history has been following religion until this point. It's time to change that. And it starts on the Fulfillment Show, right?
Here we go.
This is important. This is really important. Spirituality and religion are completely distinct. Many religious people will tell you, or they will convey to you, that spirituality is an extension of religion. It is not true. Spirituality and religion cannot be the same. And I'll explain this to you, friends. Actually, let me give you an analogy. I love cheesecake. I love eating cheesecake. And for those of you who are watching this video...
Me too. I'm a strawberry cheesecake guy. Strawberry cheesecake is the best.
Look at that. Yes. Yeah. So you'll be able to say, yeah, I can see that this man likes cheesecake. But so let's explain religion and spirituality in terms of cheesecake. Okay, you ready for this?
Hit me.
Religion is the picture of a cheesecake. Spirituality is the actual eating and experience of the cheesecake.
Okay.
Wow.
Amazing distinction, actually. Light bulb in my mind. But if I'm at the Cheesecake Factory, I see the picture on the menu, I order it, it comes, it looks like the picture, I eat it. So the picture and the real thing are intertwined.
They're intertwined, but they're distinct, right? They're intertwined, but they're distinct. If you just stick with the menu, if all you do is hold the menu to your heart, right? Or worse, you try to eat the menu. Oh my God. Andy, It is.
It ain't going to work out good. Yeah. Okay. You're onto something. You're very intriguing. I'm locked in. Keep going on spirituality being distinct from religion, because I think
Yeah.
based on the analogy, I can follow you. So
Yes.
I would assume that your argument is you want spirituality, not religion. Is that what you'd say? Is that fair to say?
So, yes, I mean, religion can be used. That picture of the cheesecake can remind you of the cheesecake. It can put you in the mood for a cheesecake, right? But then its utility ends. If you understand the context of religion, if you understand how to use it, then religion is great. If you get stuck in religion, if you just stay there, it's like you're going to Disney World, right? You're driving from Texas. I live in Texas. You're driving to Florida to Disney World, right? And you see a billboard, right? 300 miles from
Yes.
Disney. And you stop there and you say, kids, we've gotten you. We've reached Disney World. All right. You get down, you look at the billboard, you say, whoa, this is really cool. No, it's not cool. It's not cool. It's absolutely not cool. And Disney will not appreciate you turning back from their billboard because they need to make money from you actually going to the park and paying. Oh, that's a different subject. Do not turn back once you see the billboard. The billboard is not Disney World. There is no comparison between the billboard on the highway and actual experience of Disney World. They are not in the same dimension, right? You cannot.
That is self-evident. That you're exactly right. So how do we penetrate into real spirituality?
Ooh, look at Andy. My God,
Because
Andy.
I can buy a Bible or a Quran or anything, the writings of any prophet throughout history. I can buy that on Amazon right now, delivered in 2 days. I can read it. What's the difference
Yes.
between having the book and holding it to my heart and living it?
Yes, you can, and you can read any scriptural text. It doesn't matter which religion you get it from, and you can read it all you want, and you can read it 1,000,000 times. You're still stuck at the billboard. Man, ooh, Andy, be careful. Be careful, Andy. You asked the question. You asked the question.
I'm
giving you the answer.
I want it.
Andy, if your podcast goes viral because you're asking these questions, yes, if you read your religious scriptures and all you do it all your life, you're still stuck at the billboard. So you asked this question. What a beautiful question you asked, Andy. How do I actually know what is spiritual experience? Right? How do I make that spiritual trend? How do I go to the spiritual dimension? I'm adding more.
Because I think, Ravi, what I've experienced in a lot of encounters with people is they've had a bad experience with religion because all it was the menu. All it was words on a
Yes.
page, but
Yes.
nothing interior. They didn't experience the interior wholeness in someone else,
Yes.
and they never experienced it themselves.
No.
Like
They
with you,
never.
clearly, I sense a penetrating joy in your life, and the listeners are sensing it too. They've already turned the volume down a couple times from your exuberant laugh. So we feel it. You can sense when it's real in someone, and a lot of people have had negative experiences with quote unquote religious people. And you're saying,
Yes.
so that's what I think you're getting at, which is like powerful, because I think all of us listening in one way or another have had that experience.
Yes. And friends, continue to dial down the volume because I'm only getting started.
There we go, baby.
And he's going to keep pushing me higher and higher. I would take that earbuds out and put it at arm's length. You'll be able to hear me fine.
Everyone, hey, if you haven't already gone over to my Substack and signed up for a free or premium membership, why don't you go do that right now? There's so much stuff. Every Monday morning, you get the latest episode, either a long form or a monologue on a big topic by me. Every Wednesday, you get the self-reflection guide, all my notes, all my memos, and so much more. And by signing up, you will get my free book emailed to you in PDF form right now. Thank you so much.
Yes, no, that is absolutely true, Andy. So many of us, in fact, billions of people on earth are following religion because they're looking for something because they have this innate beckoning, right? We use the word beckoning in some religions, especially in Christianity, but it's this innate desire, right? And they look to religion, but it does not satisfy the hunger. No matter how hard you try, that menu, no matter how good that picture is, no matter how fancy the menu is, how flashy, how beautiful the menu is, it cannot. Nothing wrong with the menu. It cannot satisfy your hunger. You have to understand it's a menu. If you fall in love with the menu and you never actually order the cheesecake, you will stay hungry. But more importantly than even staying hungry, you will never experience what a cheesecake is. So that's one point. The second point I want to make is that religious leaders and people who are religious, who are evangelical, who are fanatics, they will argue about religion. That's like arguing if your menu is better looking than my menu. Well, you can have that argument till the cows come home. It makes no difference because the menu, your billboard, is it better than my billboard? Great. We can sit and argue, and we can argue. And you know what? Makes no difference because it's not really Disney World.
People are pulled over on the side of the road. They want spirituality. They want to feel those words in their soul. How?
Yes. Let's answer, friends. Better pull over because this is life-changing. This is life-changing. You know, if you have gone to Andy's description, he says he's a pilgrim in the journey. I am here, Andy, to give you the path. All right?
I'm ready.
And let me clarify, friends, I am not a prophet. I am not a messiah. I am not a prophet. I'm just an ordinary human being. So I'm giving you the path, but it is Andy's path as much as it is my path, as much as it is his family member's path, his friend's path. It is the path of everyone on earth. All right? It is everyone's path. It is not my path. That's why as much as I would love to claim it and get a patent on it, it's not my path. Boy, this would be the most precious patent on earth. I would love to send it to the patent office and say, look, my path. It's not my path, my friends. This is your path. And now when you listen to this answer, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm not going to beat around, right? In this podcast, you're going to understand spirituality like you have never understood before, and it is life-changing. Can I scream that louder? Can I really scream? It is going to be life-changing, my friends. Please understand this. And this is not bullshit. I am not bullshitting, please. You got to, you know, at the end of the podcast, if you don't understand this, I mean, and I'm going to explain it in such simple terms, this is going to be eye-opening. Because it is stunningly simple. Let's get to it. So let's start with what is spirituality? Because once we understand spirituality, I will be able to take that definition and help you understand why it is different from religion. What is the experience of the cheesecake?
What is it?
So, yeah, what is spirituality? And I'm going to give you the simplest definition of spirituality on earth, my friends. There cannot be. I'm building it up for a few seconds here. So it's a, excuse me for saying this, it's an effing big deal. Okay. This is a big deal. All right. This is the big answer. It's coming in just a few minutes here. But it is the most simplest answer on earth. It is stunningly simple. No one can give you a simpler answer, not even God. There cannot be a simpler answer than this. It's the truth. And what is spirituality? Spirituality is the experience of your own life force. What is life force? Some may call it soul. Some may call it spirit. Some may call it Atma in Sanskrit. They call it Ruh in Arabic, or in every language there is a word. But that life force that keeps you living. All right? When you experience your own life force, that energy that keeps you alive, that is spirituality. You experiencing your own soul.
So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to assume that's the right definition. How do we do it? How do we do it?
How
I
do we
want to
do
get
it?
there. I want to experience my life force. I want to experience my soul. I want to go do it right now.
Let me drink some water.
Wash it down, baby. Some other podcasts might be a little softer around the edges, but
I
we're
think I
just
need
going
5
for it.
bottles of water here.
Make it a whiskey. Make it a double.
Let's drink to it. Friends, I love you, Andy. Can I say that? I love you, Andy. I love you, Andy. You know why
Ravi,
I love you?
I love you.
Look at the way you are going about this. The answers, my God. The questions that you're asking, right? You are progressing so beautifully. So this is what a beautiful question that Andy asked. He says, okay, Ravi. And I think he said, like, I believe you. He doesn't have to believe me because remember, religion is about beliefs. Spirituality is not about belief. I already told you this. I am not a messiah. I am not a prophet. I am not here to start a new religion. I'm only here to tell you that the earth is round. I did not make the earth round. Okay? I am just here to tell you, everybody thinks earth is flat. I'm just telling you earth is round. It's the truth and you can discover it. And if you try it, then you happen to be Columbus, you will head out and you'll know that you're not going to fall off the edge of the earth. Okay? I'm just here to tell you earth is round. I'm just here to tell you spirituality is the experience of your own soul. And the question, how do we experience our soul? If the definition is this simple, then the path to it has to be simple also. I cannot complicate it for you. So here is the simple answer. You will experience your soul naturally and automatically. My God, well, what is this? You're going, friends, I really wish there was a product around here that I could sell to you. I'd be so rich, but it's going to happen automatically for you and naturally for you. I get to make no money out of this. This is yours. It's you, your soul, which you're going to experience automatically. Now you see why I chose not to become a prophet and not to start a religion. I have nothing to sell, but this is it. You are going to experience your own life force naturally and automatically. And you know how you do that? As soon as...
Dying. I'm on the edge of my seat.
No,
Naturally
edge of the
and
seat.
automatically.
Let's give it. Yes. Let's give you the answer, Andy, and to your friends who are listening. As soon as your mind becomes quiet, as soon as your mind becomes still, your soul starts becoming self-evident. All right? Let me give you an example to understand this. You're probably thinking, I need time to digest that. The sun is always shining. It's Houston, Texas. We have this winter storm that just blew through yesterday, right? 3/4 of the country went through the winter storm. And today, the clouds have dissipated. And the sun is shining through. I didn't have to write a memo this morning or an email. I didn't have to call the Department of Sun and say, can the sun shine through? The sun is shining through automatically. You know what? It was shining through even yesterday. Well, we couldn't see it because there was cloud cover. When the clouds in your mind of thoughts, when they dissipate, your soul immediately, naturally, and automatically begins to shine through. All you have to learn to do, my friends, is quiet your mind.
This is like a click path when you go to a help guide on a website because you can't figure something out, and it tells you, first, spirituality and religion are different. Okay,
Yes.
How do we experience? What is spirituality? It is the life force within you, the soul, all the other things different religions call it. Okay, how do we access the soul? The next click path is we need to quiet our mind and the clouds will part and the sun will come through. The next natural click path is, well, how do we quiet our mind? We've got Facebook, we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got work, we've got kids, we've got priorities, we've got desires, we're in debt, we want a car, we want a bracelet. There's so much other stuff. We're driving the kids around like a taxi 24 hours a day. My boss is asking me to do these things. How do we quiet our mind?
Yes.
Can we experience spirituality in the midst of the hecticness of life? Because I'm not a monk. I got a wife, I got kids, I got a demanding job.
Yes.
Is it even possible for someone like me?
Yes. You have all the demands, Andy, and you're absolutely true. I got a wife, I got kids. They're older now. I cannot call them kids. They're adults. Thankfully, I don't have to drive them around. They drive themselves around,
Well, send them up here to drive my kids around.
right? But I still have a wife. I still have a bank who calls in for the mortgage, right? I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss, which is more problematic than having a boss, right? Because when you're your own boss, it drives you 24/7. I have all these same issues. But Andy, let me ask you this. You have all these pressures. Everyone does. Do you get a chance to take a bath every day?
I do. I'm a showerer, but yes, I shower every day.
Every day. You find the time. You have all these pressures.
Okay, now you're exposing me. Most days I take a shower, not every day. Most days.
I was going to do fact check, but your wife on, but your kids on. Dad, you're smelling today.
Yes, go shave, Dad.
Yeah, but most days you find the time to shower. You find the time to sleep. In fact, you find the time to be on your phone. We all have time. We do. And we do not have to be. It is a fallacy to think that only monks can calm their minds.
Whoa.
That is a fallacy. We do not have to move to a monastery to calm the mind.
I'm posting that right when we get off of this. That is a gem. It is a fallacy to think that only monks can calm their minds. Keep going. This is good. Wow.
Yes. So let me ask you a different question. Do you know how to lose weight? You don't need to lose weight, Andy. You look wonderful. You look at me. I need to lose weight. Do you know how I can lose weight? What do I need to do?
Eat less, exercise more. Less in, more out.
Do I need to go buy a book?
No.
Do you know how many books?
I think that's a great analogy, actually, because a lot of people have been trying to lose weight for 20 years. And they know how to do it, but they don't do it. So how do we do something that we know how to do? Like a lot of the most basic things in life are self-evident to us. I mean, on this podcast, when I listen back, I'm like, this is so basic. I've read this. I've heard this 100 different times. And it's like, I just hope the way I say it, the guest I have on, their analogy, I hope it connects because we know the most basic things in life, and the most basic things in life are the most profound. Expensive things are cheap. Cheap things are expensive. Our family, our experiences, our relationships are the most profound things in life, yet they're free to us. So we cast them aside and we chase things that are expensive, like a nice car, a nice watch,
We do not.
vacations, and they end up being worthless to us. We all know that to be true, yet we still do it over and over and over again. So how do you crack that code?
That's right. We don't respect the most powerful things in our lives, right?
Yeah.
We don't respect that. And there is no need for me to go buy all kinds of, there are, I suspect, thousands of books on dieting. All kinds of, and every year, November, there comes a new fad, new dieting based on some new research. Right?
Yeah.
And new analysis, which says they will match my blood type to what I eat and stuff like that. I know this. I need to stop eating the damn cheesecake. Stop experiencing it. Just stick with the menu and all my problems will go away. Or try eating the menu once or twice and that's it.
Yeah.
That will solve my cheesecake craving forever. I'll be scarred for life.
The
I'll be
inverse
50
of the
pounds lighter.
spirituality equation. Yeah.
Yeah, right? So I know that exercising and moving around will change everything. And in fact, if I move around and don't sit and work for 12, 14, 16 hours a day, I can actually eat anything I want. It's just that I've made a lifestyle or a work style of working 40. I know that already, right? And no amount of reading books will change that. What will change it is if I change my work style. If I stop sitting for 14 to 16 hours. It's simple. It is so simple. I don't need to pay money to a nutritionist. I do not need to pay money to a dietitian. I do not need to read. Right? Quieting the mind. Now, I will say this, sometimes religion can help you quiet the mind. But religion also is a place that can disturb your mind. So you have to start understanding what disturbs your mind and what quiets your mind. But before we get into the specific techniques, the first thing that you have to realize, and most people don't know this, you are not the mind. You would have heard other spiritual authors say this. You have to recognize you are not the mind.
My ego is not the mind. What is not the mind? When you say me, what is me?
Yeah. Ooh, who is me? If it is not the mind, then who is me?
Guessing you might say it's my soul, my life force, but I don't know. Who is me?
Yeah, you.
Who am I?
Who am I? Who am I? There was a great saint in India, Ramakrishna Paramahans, who used to spend years asking that question and teaching all his disciples to ponder. He said, keep searching, who am I? Who is the witness? Who is watching, right? And so then when you keep pondering that, you come to the essence, you come to realization that you can actually watch your own mind. Now this sounds so mystical and mystic, right? I was just reading this morning some post, they talked about mind cognition, metacognition, right? The ability to realize that you are not the mind. Because once you realize, people say, I am angry. I say, no, you're not angry. You cannot be angry. Your mind is angry. You say, I am in love. No, you are not in love. My mind is in love. When you begin to build this separation between you and the mind, it starts paving the way for you to manage the mind and lead the mind to become quiet.
Reminds me
at
a
a
lot of
philosophical level.
stoicism. Like you take the inputs and you recognize the inputs that are coming into your life, stress, work, kids, whatever would naturally create emotion, and then you respond. You get to choose how you respond to these inputs. Is that about what you're saying, or are you saying something different?
No, it's exactly that. It's like a car. For those of you who are mechanical engineers know this, that the wheel can be spinning, but the car is not going to move until you put that traction in motion, right? You have to connect with the wheel, then the car moves. So the wheel can move. You can have all of this going outside happening, but it only affects you if you engage with it, right? If you let it, if you get traction, if you make the traction happen, right? Now this, I have to be careful because until now, everything that I have said was very simple. Suddenly, this conversation has become heavy. But so let me leave the philosophy part, right? And this mind awareness part. And let me share something that is very practical for you to do. Okay? Some practical steps that will lead you to the path where one day you will begin to see that you're not the mind, that it is the mind that gets angry, it's the mind that hates, it's the mind that loves, it's the mind that is in stress, it's the mind that is anxious. You are separate.
When you
from
say
the
mind, do you mean brain?
No, brain.
What do you mean
is
when you
the,
say mind?
So, let's take the example of your phone. Your phone has computer chips in it, right? Electronics chips in it. All of that circuitry, that's the brain. It's the hardware, right? And then the phone has software running it, all these apps running in it, right? And some app pops up, Facebook pops up, YouTube pops up, Instagram pops up, or it shuts down. This is all the software. That is the mind that is running. Your mind is choosing which thoughts play in it. Because you could say, so I do this often. Sometimes when I sit and I want to enjoy, I will go and pick a memory and I'll bring that memory and play that memory in my mind and I'll enjoy it. And then sometimes things will bother me and I say, this person hurt me. And then I will see that and I'll recognize that and I say, okay, all right, this is causing me great consternation. I need to stop thinking about that. And when I stop thinking about it, guess what? It stops troubling me. Because something can trouble me only if I think about it. If I don't think about it, it doesn't trouble me. Friends, this is so basic. It's so difficult to do, but it's so simple. If you do not think about your boss and the deadline, now you're going to say, well, the deadline doesn't go away. That is true. You were in love with somebody and they betrayed you and they're gone, but you stop thinking about them. Guess what? They can no longer trouble you. It's
This
very
example I've heard of this to prove, because a lot of people will say, I can't control my thoughts, that I am frustrated over my work and it's on my mind. And the example I heard that worked for me immediately when I heard it and has worked for everyone else I've tested it on is, and all the listeners, think of a pink elephant right now. Think of a pink elephant. What are you thinking about in your head right now? A
yeah.
pink elephant. We
Yes.
can control our thoughts. And it takes discipline and practice, just like exercising a muscle. When you go to the gym at first, light weights. Over time, the muscle builds. So it takes practice. Just because you're not amazing at it, you're not Elon Musk on day one, don't sweat it. It's constant and continuous and consistent effort over periods of time, and you will see growth. You
Yes.
diet for 1 week, you don't see any change. You work out for 2 weeks, you don't see a change. This is a lifelong process of depth because we're penetrating our soul, our mind, things that I haven't even distinguished yet that I used to think were one thing. So, techniques, Ravi, you're about to hit us with the practical techniques.
There are three that I want to share with you. There is a fourth if we will get into time, but at least three that let's start with.
And
Every
if we don't
evening,
get to it, of course, I'm going to drop the link to your books in the
yes,
show notes here. So if anyone listening wants to go deeper, they can grab your book. Everyone, hey, if you haven't already gone over to my Substack and signed up for a free or premium membership, why don't you go do that right now? There's so much stuff. Every Monday morning, you get the newest, latest episode, either a long form or a monologue on a big topic by me. Every Wednesday, you get the self-reflection guide, all my notes, all my memos, and so much more. And by signing up, you will get my free book emailed to you in PDF form right now. Thank you so much.
sure, absolutely, absolutely. So the first technique that I want to share with you is called the mind purge.
The
I also
mind
call it
purge.
the mind purge. Okay. And I also call it the recliner exercise because when I do it, I sit on my most favorite comfortable recliner. So at the end of the day, end of my work day, not end of the day, right? Don't do this right before you go to sleep. Do it after you're done working for the day. Okay. So hopefully in the evening, hopefully you stop working in the evening, unlike me, right? You say, okay, all right, I'm done with work. Either you're in the office or hopefully you've come back home, or if you're working from home, then you get out of your home office and you go to some place in your home where you sit down. There is no distractions, no electronics. You just sit down comfortably and just sit down. Okay. As soon as you sit down, what is going to happen is your mind is going to start thinking about the day's activities, everything that happened to you during that day. Someone said this, the boss said this, boss said you're not doing a good job, boss said you're doing a great job. Somebody, some colleague, stabbed you in the back, or some colleague helped you, or your spouse said this, or your kid said this, your parents, whatever happened, it is going to go through. Try as best not to start thinking more about it. So if you have a meeting tomorrow and you think about it, don't start planning for the meeting, right? Don't try and get actively engaged. Let the mind process everything that went through that day. It's just like when we eat food every day, what does the body need to do? It needs to digest and process it and throw out the waste the following day. We never give our minds the chance to do that. Okay.
I love that. I kind of thought that's what sleep was for. I thought sleep processed our thoughts.
No,
And maybe
sleep
it
does
does in
not.
a different way.
No, it does not. Sleep does not do anything to process your thoughts. In fact, if you will notice, if you fall asleep thinking about something that is active and you wake up in the morning, it will come right back up because sleep doesn't process thoughts.
Interesting. It must organize memories or do something a little deeper in the
It
brain.
doesn't, because it's still that you have not processed. And what happens is the point that you're talking about sleep, what it will take it will not process it, but it will keep burying it down in your subconscious layers. So it just keeps getting buried and buried and buried, right?
Yeah.
Calcified.
So how long for the mind purge? 5
Yes.
minutes? 10 minutes?
When I sit for mind purge, one of the things that, and this, you will see this, you will hear me say this often, is try not to put time limits on yourself for anything that you do when it comes to these practices, right? Just sit. Now, if you say, well, I in 10 minutes, I have to go out for a dinner date, then you got 10 minutes. I understand that. But if you get a chance, because what happens is the mind naturally will process whatever has happened, and then it will come a point, it will tell you, okay, I'm done. And you will immediately stand up. Okay? You're not going to sit any minute longer than the mind wants to. The mind process it and purges everything. And then I'll tell you what will happen. As soon as you are done processing and you stand up and you go back into the kitchen or the living room, wherever the family is, you will have a slight smile on your face. Okay? Because before, if you had just gone like that, all the tensions, the pressures are on your face. You're eating dinner, you may be drinking wine, you may be having a wonderful dinner with your family, but you're really not there. You're
I've
still
been
caught up.
there. I've been there. Everyone in the audience must have been there regularly. And if not regularly, at least sometimes. And I just shared with my audience a couple weeks ago that I've been practicing on my drive home. I have a 30-minute commute home from my office. I've started driving in silence because what usually happens is I'm trying to rush home for dinner. So
Yes.
my last meeting wraps up. I've been back to back working on the phone in meetings all day, working diligently on a task, emails, whatever, Excel. And then the bell rings and I hit the car and I head home. But what do I do while I'm heading home? I'm on a phone call. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to a book or music. And then I get home and I'm at dinner and my mind starts to unwind while I'm trying to be present with my family. And I'm physically here, but I'm not presently here. And another guest I had, Bridget Nohara, was talking about getting your head where your feet are at. And I think what you're saying can help us get our head where our feet are at. If we allow time for the brain to process, to purge, then we can be where we are at.
Absolutely. We are cheating ourselves because we're with our families. There are many people who cannot be with their families because they're traveling or for whatever reason their work schedules are different. But majority of us, we spend, there is a big deal about eating dinner with your family. I think that's only partially the story. It's not just eating with the family, it's being with the family.
Yeah. The meal brings you together. It's not the meal, it's not the food. It is the experience of being together with your family, the conversation, the togetherness.
Yes, because your kids are saying something, but you're not registering it. Your spouse says something, but you're not registering it.
Which
You're
is
just
another great
eating it.
analogy for spirituality and religion. Religion is being at the table, but thinking about your workday. Spirituality is being at the table united with your family.
My God, Andy, did I say I love you? I love you, Andy.
Not yet. Say it again, baby. Say it louder.
Let all doubts be removed, Andy.
All doubts are removed. Okay, techniques. Okay, so that's practical. The purge. I love that. Anything else, or are we ready for number 2?
No, let's say this. Once you start doing the mind purge, remember how we went on this philosophical bent about you are not the mind. Becoming what, and I don't know if I use the phrase, but becoming mind aware. Okay? Once you start practicing mind purge, it starts building the steps for you to become mind aware. Because you will watch your mind before you start those sessions, and at the end of it, you will see a difference and you'll begin to feel it. It's teaching you slowly and surely to become mind aware. It may take
So
you
I just
months.
heard, real quick, I just heard Tony Robbins on Stephen Bartlett's show say this, and I'm feeling like I'm learning this in real time right now. The Eastern religions are very good at spiritual awareness. Eastern people, and correct Tony if he's wrong, Ravi, or my interpretation of it. Eastern people can be dirt poor, living in a slum, and be at peace. Westerners got the material thing right, except we can be in a mansion with a beautiful meal, all our comforts wanted for, and be miserable. And fulfillment is about marrying the two together, both having deep peace, awareness in the spirit, and having food to eat and being in a comfortable place. Marrying those two things together, I think he would say, is the ideal of fulfillment.
Yeah, I made a video and the title was, Do you think billionaires are the most happiest people on earth?
No is the obvious answer.
Is that not striking?
No, not with my lived experience. And anyone that does a mind purge and actually thinks about things knows that for themselves. Because everybody today makes more money than they did 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And if not 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And are they happier today than they were then? Most people would say the happiest they ever were was in college. Why? Because they were living. They had agency. They weren't confined by the chase.
They weren't confined by their own mind's expectations of them.
A more eloquent way to say that.
It's
Yep.
not the chase, it's what their mind is doing to them and what billionaires' minds do to them. You listen to billionaires. They are some
Whoa.
of the most.
What I like about what you just distinguished there was it's not no one's chasing us but ourselves. It is our mind that. So it's not like we have to get rid of something else. It's actually, like you said, way early on. It's very simple, but most times the simple things are the hardest things. You don't have to get rid of something else. It's us we have to get rid of, which is hard. Sorry, go on, but I had to draw that
A
out.
billionaire doesn't need to. You mentioned Elon Musk. He is worth $400 billion. You know, just a few months ago, he was getting Tesla board to pass a new resolution which will give him an additional 500 billion so he can be the first trillionaire. Okay?
Yeah.
He has 4 to 500 billion dollars. It's an unimaginable amount of money. If the richest man on earth cannot be satisfied with the amount of money that he has, then screw the rest of us. Yeah. It's not a small amount of money. That's 500 billion. 500, can I scream more louder? 500 billion, right?
Yeah.
500 billion. Should I say it one more time? 500, $500 billion. The man wants
Which is
another
incomprehensible.
$500 billion.
You even have to watch a YouTube video to understand the magnitude of that money because our minds, we've never ingested a number that big before. There's nothing to compare it to. And there actually are really good YouTube videos that show you the scale of what that money is. And if you haven't done it, I would just do it because it's fascinating.
And, and if you ask Elon, he will tell you that the money is, he has enough. In fact, I don't know, 50 generations of his have enough, or whatever, if they don't use it unwisely. But the deal is, it's not the money, it's the validation, it's the value creation. He wants to make sure he's recognized for the value creation. But friends, if you think billionaires are happy, if you think people who have money are happy just because they have money, you got to learn a lot in life. You have not understood life. Why does the kid who is poor in India or in Africa, who doesn't know money in the way you know it, how can that kid living in poor conditions, not knowing whether he or she will have food, how can that kid smile? If you or me, we were not sure if we were going to have dinner on table today, would just be horrified. We would be horrified. We would be horrified if we didn't know that there will be food on the dinner table tonight. We would just be going crazy. That's a human being too. How does that human being smile? Why is it? What is the difference, friends? The difference is his mind and our mind. I am used to having food. I've never had to sleep hungry ever in my life. Knock on wood. And because I've never had to do that, I'm absolutely mortified of ever finding myself. Who is I, right? It's the mind, because the mind has that expectation. The mind has the fear.
And what is the mind if not the brain?
So the brain is the neurons, right? But the mind is the thoughts. What is the mind? The minds are the thoughts that I think, and the thoughts translate into feelings and emotions, is the memories that I have. That is all that is the mind, right? Is the data on the phone and the apps that you run, and the quantity and the time for which these apps run. They give every phone a personality. Your phone has a very different personality than my phone because I'm doing different things than you are. right? It's the mind. Mind is the thoughts. And these thoughts make us, right? So we talked about the first technique, which is the mind purge. Let's talk about the second technique, and then we'll get to the third technique. So let's go through the second technique quickly. On weekends, if you get some time, then take some time to just do nothing. And, most people, when I say do nothing, they look at me like I'm crazy. They go, are you crazy? Have you lost it? What do you mean do nothing? I say, yeah, just do nothing. They go, oh, I'd like to go for a walk, for a jog, for cycling. Can I do that? I said, no, do nothing. And that is the scariest thought for people. And they have this thing going through my mind. Can I really do nothing? What does he mean, do nothing, right? Can I really do nothing? And then am I going to be bored? They're scared of it. What will I do? How does that work? What do you mean? I'm used to being on my phone, watching TV, calling friends, doing something.
Yeah.
I'm busybody, right? I am a busy bee. I need to be doing something. What do you mean do nothing? What a concept is that? What do you mean do nothing? I can read a novel. I can read a book. Yeah, do nothing. And I have said it already 19 times. Is just do nothing. How do you want me to explain? Do nothing.
Well, so Ravi, I feel like I'm the most reflective person I know. Every morning I start by reflecting on my day. Every day after work, I write down what I'm going to do the next day. And I've actually, thanks to the encouragement of my wife, I just lay on the floor, just on the carpet of my office. And I just lay there and purge, as you'd say. I never had that terminology until right now. And then once a month, I have 1 hour blocked off where I plan. I reflect on the prior month. I plan for the next month. And then once a quarter, I have a hermitage booked. I go there for one night and I reflect on the past quarter, plan for the next quarter. And while some of that time is sitting and doing nothing, a lot of that is prompt-based thinking. So I have a prompt and I'm working through it in my head. And then when I'm finished with that, when I might reflect for a little bit and sit and think, I might go on a walk and sit and think, go on a run, swim. But I'm almost always prompted by something. And I hear you saying something different, which is don't give yourself a prompt. Just be there. Are you sitting? Are you standing? When you're doing nothing, what is your posture? Are you going, oh,
No, I'm not. No, remember, it's doing nothing. When I'm sitting, usually I can sit in my backyard and just be. I'm not watering plants. I'm not doing, just sitting. There is no prompt. There is no agenda. I am not expecting to get anything out of it. I'm not expecting to do anything. I just want to exist.
don't we do everything to get something out of it, though?
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Why?
That is the problem. That is the problem, my friend. That is exactly the problem. I keep snacking all day long, and then I say, why don't I lose weight? And my mind is thinking all the time, everything at one time, it wants something, it wants something. That is why it never becomes quiet, and my soul keeps waiting. And I never experience it. It doesn't. My clouds are always there. New clouds. I'm constantly wanting. My mind is always, the title of my book is Happy Soul, Hungry Mind. The mind is constantly hungry. It's always wanting, wanting, wanting.
So I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast. We're almost 50 episodes in, so it's hard for me to remember exactly what I've shared. But I have said many times on the podcast, I'm sure of this, that peace is the litmus test of my life. Peace. If I make this decision, will I have peace after it? And I discovered peace for the first time, Ravi, in college, where up until that point in my life, anxiety reigned. And this may be normal in a lot of adolescents' lives, coming of age, but I was constantly comparing, constantly trying to make the team, be in the band, do the thing, comparing to other people, kind of faking being whoever I needed to be in the moment to be liked by whoever I was with. And then in college, and what's unique about this, the reason it came to mind right now is when I experienced peace for the first time, I was in a chapel and no one else was there and it was quiet. And I had never really prayed before. I'd prayed prayers that were written down, but I'd never just I didn't know what to do. So I ended up just being in there and just sitting for an extended period of time. And that was the first time I experienced it. And from that moment on in my life to this day, it's 20 years later now. I said, nothing in my life is worth trading for peace, period. And I don't know if there's anything greater. No one's ever explained anything to me that is greater than peace. Can you? Or is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm saying, my friend. That is exactly what you're saying. When you were in that chapel, when you had, in fact, even finished reading the prayers and there was nothing else to do, your mind began to become quiet. All your thoughts, you were not thinking about anything outside of that chapel. The world outside had come. You were absolutely quiet. And you know why you experienced peace? You were experiencing the glimpses of your soul because the clouds had dissipated. You were just sitting there. Naturally and automatically, you experienced that and you have carried that. And all I have come to tell you is that that experience that you had 20 years ago is the real thing in your life. Keep connecting to it. Find ways and means to quiet your mind. You can do it in a chapel. You can do it in your home. You can do it in your wherever you go for your break, 3-month break, wherever you go, it doesn't matter. In fact, you could do it. It's there with you all the time. It's there with you 24/7. I shouldn't say this. In fact, it is there with you even when your wife is yelling at you. She could be yelling at you and you could be, I should stop. I really should stop.
Not my wife. You mean other people's wives. You know my wife would never yell at me.
Yeah, we dropped that conversation about each other's wives. This is a conversation about peace. Let's stick with that. Oh my God. I'm in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm human. I get
You and
reminded
me.
every day. Yeah.
You and
But
me, Ravi.
you experienced that in the chapel, that peace. And Andy, you say you're a pilgrim. You've experienced the destination, my friend. You're not on a journey, you've experienced the destination. The journey in the book I wrote, the journey from the mind to the soul, you have experienced the glimpse of the soul.
And that, I love that, Ravi, because I think a lot of us have the idea of fulfillment as the idea of retirement, like it is a place to be desired and a destination, and it isn't. Our destination is with us today. The only guarantee in life is this moment and death. And if we can't experience it today, we can never experience it.
Yeah, and we we'll not get to a discussion of death, but we'll talk about death. Death is not the end, it's a transformation. But we have it. And there is two types of fulfillment. There is fulfillment in the material world, which your mind wants. The mind wants significance and satisfaction. The mind is looking for fulfillment, says, yeah, I had a great life, I accomplished all of this. That's great. That's fulfillment of the mind. But fulfillment of the mind and fulfillment of life are two different things. When you experience your soul, that is fulfillment of your life.
There's silence because I'm processing through that. And it lines up with everything I know to be true. And one thing I know to be true is that fulfillment in life can't be being remembered, because I know I won't be remembered in future generations. In 100 years, no one will remember my name. So what is a fulfilled life? A fulfilled life is, what would you say? A fulfilled life is what?
Fulfilled life is you realizing and experiencing your soul.
And I can do that today. 37 years old. I don't have to wait for retirement. I don't have to wait for my income to get to a certain level. I don't have to wait for my kids to grow up. I don't have to wait for anything. I can do it right now in the silence of my heart and in the silence of my mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do it, and everybody on earth can do it. It doesn't matter if they're man, woman, or transgender. It doesn't matter if they're gay, straight, or bisexual. It doesn't matter if they're a sinner waiting on death row, or if they're a saint, a monk living in a monastery. It doesn't matter if they're a billionaire, Elon Musk. It doesn't matter if they're a pauper. not knowing if they'll have a meal in the evening. Both Elon Musk and that pauper, both can access their soul within, because it is them and their soul, nobody else's business. They don't need a religious leader. They do not need to go to a pilgrimage. They do not need to give any money to a church or a temple or a mosque. They do not need to listen to anybody. They don't need a guru. They don't need a scripture. It's them and their soul. Nobody can come in between them and their soul. Nobody, not even God.
So I've got 3 follow-up questions that are burning, but I'm dying for the third practical technique.
Yes. So the third one is the ultimate one, which is meditation. When you have been doing these two, it naturally sets the stage for you to do, I stop myself, stage for meditation. Now, meditation is also something that is, there are hundreds of techniques, if not thousands, and people will come to me and say, I hate meditation. I cannot do it. I don't like it. It seems horrible. Why meditate? Why does the mind and all of that? Is because they're following the wrong techniques. Meditation is not concentration. Most techniques teach you to concentrate. They teach you to focus. The focus on a flame, focus on something, focus on a mantra, listen to music. It's a $1 billion industry, meditation music. All these apps, all right? They'll say, oh, focus on God's name, all kinds of stuff. Focus on your breath. Meditation is not something you do. Meditation is something that happens to you. So I give this example for people. I say, look, people say I'm floating on water. I say, no, that's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. You cannot float on water. All you're doing is lying still on water. Water is floating you. If you panic and start moving around in water, guess what water will do? It will drown you. And in a minute, it will be over. We'll not hear from you ever again. Okay? So all you're doing is lying still. Water floats you. We misuse English. The language, we say, I am floating. No, you're not floating. I am meditating. No, you cannot meditate. Meditation happens like floating happens. All you're doing is just being still.
Leaving silence purposely, so we can all think about that, because I'm thinking about that. I'm going to have to re-listen to that, hit pause, and think it through. And Ravi, I've got literally, for those that can see my nicotine-stained hands, pages of prep notes here. We're not going to get to so much, but I got to ask a couple, we'll call them lightning round questions, but you don't necessarily have to answer quickly unless you have another appointment you have to get to right away. Something you said early on was about the religion and being like menus, and there's nothing different from one menu to the other. They're all the same menu. And one thought I had that someone might say, and I might say, and I would say, is that my menu claims to be truth. So are all menus actually the same? And that may lead to, well, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean,
Are some menus truer than others? Do some menus have better?
I mean, to call the menu the truth is, how, instead of beating around the bush, is bullshit. You know why? It is truth in the context of that it is a picture. But it's not really the truth, because the menu can never, ever, absolutely never give you the experience of the cheesecake. It cannot. So is it the truth? It's a picture, yes. Is the picture the truth? Is the picture a reflection of how the cheesecake looks? Yes. But is it truly the experience of the cheesecake? No. Religion can never, ever, it cannot be the truth. The truth is only the experience. When you experience your soul. And so let me make this point. For what, religion serves is for whose purposes? Religion is for the purposes of your mind. All the scriptures on the earth, all of them are for the purposes of your mind. You remember what the definition of spirituality was? Is to quiet the mind. When I quiet the mind, your identity, you use the word ego, we didn't go there. Your ego, everything, your aspirations, your fears, all of them have to be left out of the door, including religion, including your concept of God. Everything is outside. In the spiritual dimension, you do not bring the mind. Religion is for the purposes of the mind. It's only when I transcend the mind do I experience. When you were sitting in that chapel and completely quiet, just completely quiet, that's when the soul begins to shine through.
And I'm racking my brain, and I'm a practicing Catholic. I love my Catholicism, and nothing I believe about my Catholicism contradicts what you're saying. For example, Jesus says, not all these sheep are of my flock. He says, my ways are as far above your ways as the heavens are from the earth. Like you saying you have to separate these things. It's like we cannot even begin to imagine, if I believe Jesus is God, and I do, what he tells me there is similar to what you're saying. You can't imagine what God is. So you have to, I mean, you might have some idea, but he's probably not like the pictures show, and you need to separate from that. Not everyone is going to have the same book as me. That doesn't mean they can't experience something deep and profound. Well, it doesn't mean they can't attain eternal salvation, which is what I believe. And I know we're not going to after death, because that's going to be next episode I do with you, because there's a lot more questions we got to get to. But there, it almost is used, the menu can be used in divisive ways,
Yes.
when really it's like, turn inward and look at yourself, which is funny because usually I talk about looking outward. Like we need to stop looking inward and look outward in service, and what can we do? But in this case, it's like you have to look inward. And how do we quiet our soul? How do we contemplate? How do we let the water float us without
Yes.
floundering and drowning?
Yes. You don't quiet the soul. The soul is quiet. You quiet the mind. And you don't even look. Forget looking anywhere. Outwards, inwards. Guess what? Who looks? It's the mind. Screw the mind. Stop its looking. The mind always wants to look. And so I did a video on YouTube. I said, and is the title of my chapter 10 in the book. Why can't we see God? Right? And really the remaining part is, why can't we see God through our mind? So what Jesus is talking about is unimaginable, is that your mind is not the tool to really see Jesus. If you say, I want to understand God himself, your mind cannot do that because it's a finite thing. God is infinite. Every concept that you know of God is for the consumption of your mind. Your mind is a limited tool. It's only
Which makes
when
sense
you...
why it exists, because we need the mind to live. But the goal, well, are you saying, I should ask it as a question, are you saying that the goal of religion is to lead the mind to contemplation? Because like the highest form of Lectio Divina is contemplation. You start with the scriptures, you repeat it. But the end goal of Lectio Divina, the meditation of scripture, is just silence, just existing with God. Existing.
Just existing, not even with God. And contemplation and all of that is, get what? It's another word for keeping the mind busy. Reading scriptures is what? Is keeping the mind busy. You need that. So I'll give you this example I use in the book. I say, when you need to go to sleep, you need the mind. Because the mind needs to make sure that the sheet is proper, the pillows are comfortable, the lights are turned off, the temperature is comfortable, you have a little blanket. You need the mind to do that, because if you don't have the mind, you cannot do that. But once you have done that, then you need to tell the mind, thank you very much. Can you please exit now so I can fall asleep? But if the mind is there, no, is the pillow as comfortable as you want? Is the blanket? You say, excuse me, can you just leave because I need to go to sleep? The mind has done its part. You need to let the mind say, thank you very much. Okay? So when you said, and so if you are thinking about God, Guess who is present? The mind is present. It's when this is highest philosophy, but in the simplest term, it's when you completely stop thinking. You're not thinking about anything, not even of God. Then
Yeah,
what
and
happens?
yep. Yeah, and I
Then
think I've experienced that, and it's one of the things you can't describe. It's like trying to describe the ocean. You gotta go to the ocean to know what it is.
now you're talking, which is my basis for that video, is that if I have eaten the cheesecake and I'm describing the taste of it to you, I may be Shakespeare or I may be the mother of Shakespeare. No matter how much I describe it in the most eloquent terms, you will never have a sense of the cheesecake until you taste it. You cannot have the experience. You cannot really, and this is what all the saints, this is what Jesus talks about, right? It's unimaginable because it's the experience that will really make you understand. Until you experience it, right? You can read 15 books on what a cheesecake tastes like, and you can memorize it and you can write tests on it. But guess what? The guy who actually ate the cheesecake knows more about cheesecake than you will ever know.
Which is why when people have arguments against the church because of bad priests and bad bishops and bad popes, and I think, yeah, there's bad people for sure. People know the faith better than me, and I believe I live it better than the people. Like I probably misquoted scripture a minute ago horribly because I paraphrased it, and someone would correct me, and I'd say, okay, true. Are you living it?
Yes. So how do you experience Jesus? How do you experience Jesus, my friend? It's
That's a
only
great
when,
question. Yeah.
yes.
It's
And
only
if, I,
when.
I promise you, you can read all you want all your life and you can think about him all you want all your life. That is not going to come close. The only time you're going to experience Jesus is when your mind becomes quiet and you transcend the mind and you go experience your soul, which, and so in my book, I write down, I said, the soul is the handshake to God. When you experience the soul, that's when you awaken to the infinite. That's when you will know what Jesus is like. That is when you will know what God is like. Until until then, all you're doing is flipping over the menu back and forth.
Which is why I think a lot of people are religious their whole life and are cold and unjoyful and not spiritual and aren't the types of people I would want to be because they're just memorizing things like they memorize poetry,
And
and it never
the
becomes
sad part
part.
is, yeah, the sad part is they're missing an opportunity. They're missing an opportunity because you have it. Everyone has it. And
Is it
you
ever
have
too
not.
late?
Say that, is it too late? No,
Is it ever too late?
it is never too late. It is never too late. Because guess what? It is you and your soul, and you can experience it. You quiet the mind, it will begin to shine through. It has no choice. The sun has no choice. And it's not like the sun is looking for a choice. The sun is beaming all the time. The soul is beaming all the time. It's you.
Do you think that's why so many people have deathbed conversions? Because finally the noise of the world is quieted and the reality of themselves becomes present in a moment. Like nothing else is important for the first time in their whole life. It's
Yeah,
quiet.
because they're about to die. Everything that mattered to them yesterday, how my wives are, how my kids are, how's my husband, what happened to me, who did this to me. You talk to old people, they especially will go through and, right, they'll say, this person was not nice to me. But once they're close to death, they know at that point, everything the mind becomes. But we don't have to wait till we are on our deathbed. You can go and quiet the mind now
Well,
and
and I think
awaken.
that's the key to it. I said to someone a couple months ago, I said, I could die right now and I'd be happy. There's nothing in the world that I need to achieve. I'm ready to go. Of course, I'd love to see my boys grow up. I'd love to have more experiences with my wife. There's a lot of material things I'd like to possess, but like none of that is keeping me here. I am at peace. I'm ready to go.
My God, Andy, you're so beautiful. You really, really are so beautiful. And you can share this video with your wife, and I would tell her the same. You're really beautiful. Because guess what is happening? You are already on the path. When you say there is nothing in this world, you're saying I can die right now. What you're saying is that there is nothing in this world that has a hold on me. Yes, I want to see my kids do well. I want to take care of my wife and I want to do whatever, right? But doesn't have a hold on me. I am free. And in that freedom, your mind finds itself easier to calm down. That experience that you had in the chapel, that is your experience. That feeling of peace and connecting with your own soul. That's why I have come here. That is the message that I have come to deliver. You experienced it 20 years. I'm sorry. It took me 20 years. I apologize for being this late. I should have called you up right after. I should have been standing outside the chapel. I should have washed your feet and said, Andy, okay, sorry it took me 20 years, but at least I'm here. Andy, you have already experienced. Keep experiencing that. I'm not asking you to give up your job. Don't call your boss and say, I talked to Ravi and you know what? No, go to your work, do your work, take care of your babies, make your wife happy, build a house, make money, do all of that. But none of that precludes you from experiencing your own soul. Pray to Jesus, ask him for his guidance, and then step into the quietude where you'd say, Lord, I'm coming to meet you in real. So can I leave the picture of you outside? Because they won't allow me to bring anything inside.
Like a prisoner staring at a picture of his wife, longing for the day he's released from prison to embrace his beloved in real life. Let me put the picture behind and embrace the real thing. Wow.
Lord, let me leave the picture behind because I cannot bring in this spiritual dimension. And the Lord will say, are you kidding me? Just go, hurry up. I am not the picture, Andy. You fool, I am not the picture. I've been waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. That is why I had to send you a fat, bald man to remind you. I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? And you kept him waiting for 3 months. It's 20 years and 3 months. But finally the fat, bald man is here. My Andy, I am waiting for you. Leave my picture outside. Leave everything outside. I wait for you, Andy, with open arms. Just come inside.
Simple. Not easy. Simple.
Not easy, and yet the most easiest. It's the paradox.
Well, truly, great point. It is the easiest. To do nothing is technically the easiest. Actually, the hardest.
Putting my thumb in between your eyebrows. I'm putting my hand on your forehead. And I'm touching the top of your head. God bless you, Andy. God bless you. God bless you. May the Lord bless you. And may you see his invitation lying there. May you read the invitation and go in and meet him.
Amen. Amen. I believe. I want to go meet him. I'm going to go meet him right now. I'm going to cancel this or stop this recording and go sit in silence. Ravi, for the people, I'll put it in the show notes. They want more. You've got a YouTube channel. You've got books. Where can people find you on the internet?
Spiritualitywithin.com. Spiritualitywithin.com. May I say it one more time? Spiritualitywithin.com, my friends. You can read the book you can buy it on Amazon, or if you want to save $20, then the entire audiobook is available on YouTube for free. The channel, spiritualitywithin.com, the book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind. Friends, change your life. It doesn't matter whether you're religious, whether you're not religious. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care what your profession is. I don't care whether you're a sinner or a saint. I really don't care, because you know what? This is just between you and your soul, and your soul is with you. Experience your soul, my friends. Experience it. It's the most fascinating thing about your life. There is nothing more important on earth than what you have heard here today in this podcast. There is nothing. Friends, wake up and go tell others. Tell others there is nothing to sell here. There is nothing to buy here. This is all yours. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ravi Kathuria, Fulfillment Project. Nothing more to add unless you have anything left to add, Ravi. Anything that went left unsaid you need to share? Peace. Everyone, hey, if you haven't already gone over to my Substack and signed up for a free or premium membership, why don't you go do that right now? There's so much stuff. Every Monday morning, you get the newest, latest episode, either a long form or a monologue on a big topic by me. Every Wednesday, you get the self-reflection guide, all my notes, all my memos, and so much more. And by signing up, you will get my free book emailed to you in PDF form right now. Thank you so much.